माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे। जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे। जय जगन्नाथ बलदेवा सुभद्रमाई जय सुदर्शन। जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। Devam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parijakacharya Ashtotar Shadish Divine Grace Vaishnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Devam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parijakacharya Ashtotar Shadish Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki Granth-raj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki Shri Shri Radha Madhava Bhagwan ki Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki Srila Prabhupada Book Distribution Marathon ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Ityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 2, Text number 25. Vasudevasya Devakyam Jato Bhojendra Bandhane Chikirshur Bhagavan Asyaham Sham Ajena Bhiyachitaha Vasudevasya Devakyam Vasudevasya Devakyam Jato Bhojendra Bandhane Jato Bhojendra Bandhane Chikirshur Bhagavan Asyaha Chikirshur Bhagavan Asyaha Sham Ajena Bhiyachitaha Sham Ajena Bhiyachitaha Vasudevasya Devakyam Jato Bhojendra Bandhane Chikirshur Bhagavanasya Sham Ajena Bhiyachitaha. Please chant. Bandhane Chikirshur Bhagavanasya Ajena Bhiyachitaha Vasudevasya Devakyam Jato Bhojendra Bandhane Chikirshur-Bhagavanasya Jamajera-Bhyachita. Mataji's Vasudeva Jatu Bhojendra Bandhane Chikirshur-Bhagavanasya Shamajena Bhyachitaha. Please repeat after me. Vasudevasya, of the wife of Vasudev, Devakyam, in the womb of Devaki, Jataha, born of Bhoja Indra, of the king of the Bhojas, Bandhane, in the prison house, Chikirshuhu, for doing, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Asyaha, of the earth, Sham, welfare, Ajena, by Brahma, Abhyarchitaha, being prayed for. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation: the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, being prayed to by Brahma to bring welfare to the earth, was begotten by Vasudeva in the womb of his wife Devaki, in the prison of the king of Bhoja. Purport: although there is no difference between the Lord's pastimes of appearance and disappearance, the devotees of the Lord do not generally discuss the subject matter of his disappearance. Vidura inquired indirectly from Uddhava about the incident of the Lord's disappearance by asking him to relate Krishna Katha, or topics on the history of Lord Krishna. Thus, Uddhava began the topics from the very beginning of his appearance as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki in the prison of Kamsa, the king of the Bhojas at Mathura. The Lord has no business in this world, but when he is so requested by devotees like Brahma, he descends on the earth for the welfare of the entire universe. This is stated in the Bhagavad Gita 4.8. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Please repeat the translation after me. The personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, being prayed to by Brahma to bring welfare to the earth, was begotten by Vasudeva in the womb of his wife Devaki, in the prison of the king of Bhoja. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunivadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada gives one analogy that the narrations of the Supreme Lord are like bathing in the river Ganges. They purify one of all sinful reactions. In this particular verse, in this chapter, we are seeing that there is going to be a summary description of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In short, it is interesting to see that how Vidura is asking about Lord Krishna's disappearance to Uddhava, But Maushala Lila is something that the devotees don't like to describe. Who likes to describe about the Lord's disappearance? Therefore, then it is diverted to the Lord's pastimes. Actually, if you see even in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, there is a chapter, first canto, disappearance of Lord Krishna. But in that chapter, other than disappearance, everything else is mentioned. Because devotees don't like. Sukadeva Goswami is not going to prefer to speak about the Lord's disappearance. Why? Because it is a very painful topic. Very painful to hear about or discuss about the Lord's disappearance. We want the Lord to appear in our hearts, not disappear. So then here we are finding that now Uddhava, now he's being given a description of the Lord's pastimes. So this is the beginning of the Lord's appearance on this world, in this world. Srila Prabhupada gives examples about how Lord Krishna appears and gives through very amazing analogies. He says just like sandalwood appears in the Malaya hills, Chandan appears in the Malaya hills. It doesn't mean that it is only indigenous to Malaya hills. But in the same way, the Lord appears also in the Yadu dynasty. Just like the sun appears, it seems as if it appears from the eastern horizon. It doesn't mean that the sun belongs to the east. In the same way, the Lord appears to Devaki and Vasudeva. Interestingly, our acharyas say that he also appears to Nanda and Yashoda. So today we are going to discuss how Krishna manifests in two places at the same time. The Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam mentions how Krishna appears to Devaki and Vasudeva. That we have heard of, 10th canto. But there are also stanzas, there are points which hint that how Krishna also manifests to Devaki and Vasudeva in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which the acharyas give more elaborate commentary on. Krishna is like an actor who performs different pastimes. Like an actor performing in a play or in a film, he enacts that role. So when Krishna performs his human-like pastimes, you will find all different emotions and all different scenes that any normal person undergoes to see in Krishna's personality also. And how he reacts to it and how he responds. And how his pastimes are full of loving reciprocation between him and his devotees is what we see in Krishna's Leelas. And this, so the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam actually starts with Bhumi Devi in the form of a cow goes to Brahmaji and the other demigods requesting for help because the sinful reactions on her committed by miscreants has increased to such a great extent that she feels extremely burdened. And therefore, Brahmaji and the other demigods take Bhumi Devi. They all go to the ocean of milk at Shvetadvip, the milk ocean, and they recite the Purusha Sukta prayers there to invoke the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahastraksham Sahastrapat Sabhumim Vishwato Ritva Atyatishta Dasham Golam. In this way they chant the Purusha Sukta prayers. Chanting of these prayers, invoking the Supreme Personality, does not imply that the Lord is going to give them darshan. He does not. It is not so easy to have darshan of the Supreme Lord. Sevon mukhehi jivadu swayam eva spuratyadaha. Only when the Lord wants, he is pleased by the devotional service rendered by the devotee. He reveals himself. That also is completely swarat and independent. Just like the demigods, they don't actually get darshan of the Supreme Lord. They don't get. It is the Lord, through his sound vibration, he transmits. It's a private telephone call to Brahmaji, who gets the message. Because when the devatas are praying for the Lord's mercy, the Lord replies only to Brahmaji. Then Brahmaji, he silences the other demigods who are chanting prayers. And he tells them that you listen to what I am saying, I got message directly from above. And then he conveys the message that he receives. And what does he say? He says that the Supreme Lord is going to appear in the Yadu dynasty. Therefore, all of you demigods, along with your consorts, should appear in the Yadu, Rishni, Andhaka dynasties. in that particular verse, there is a mention of Suras 3. Because particularly it is mentioned, Brahmaji is also saying that demigods have been asked to come, but wives have also been asked to come. It is also interesting that for whom is this indicated? It is indicated for those devotional women in the heavenly planets, like the mother of Vamandev. What's her name? Aditi. Such devotional women, for such personalities, it is indicated that you also must come. And they also willingly oblige, happily they come. Srila Prabhupada mentions, see, demigods, that is the benefit they have, that they can take part in the Lord's pastimes in this way, get purified, and then after that go back home, back to Godhead. The Lord also tells Brahmaji, who conveys, that my plenary portion, Ananta, is also going to appear as Sankarshana, Balaram. So will Yogamaya, my energy, my potency, is also going to come to assist my pastimes. And then the scene shifts to Mathura, where Kamsa was on the day of the marriage of his sister Devaki to Vasudeva, the son of Shurasen, was riding the chariot, and as tradition had it, that he was riding the chariot, taking Devaki to her new home. While he was going in this way, there was an announcement, there was an Akashvani from the sky which said that the 8th child of this very woman is going to be the cause of your death. Kamsa freaks out, becomes extremely disturbed, and immediately grabs the hair of Devaki, puts his sword on her neck, wanting to kill her. At that time, it was very shocking for everyone to see that how a person like Kamsa, who is the prince, is behaving in such a way that just for one announcement he is ready to kill his sister also. Srila Prabhupada mentions that those who are demons, they don't care. If something goes against them, then they can stoop down to the lowest, most abominable activity. So Kamsa is ready to kill his sister on her wedding day. And Vasudeva, understanding the danger of the situation, tries to first preach to Kamsa and gives him philosophy about karma, about the soul. But Kamsa pays no heed to good advice. He was not in a mood to listen to philosophy. And then Kamsa wants to still go ahead to kill Devaki. And Vasudeva, he thinks, he's in anxiety, and he thinks that now let me strike a deal with Kamsa. And then he says that, Kamsa, you have nothing to fear. Because if there are any sons born of Devaki, all my sons, I will hand them over to you. Then you can decide what to do with them. Vasudeva was famous for his word of honor. Anything spoken by Vasudeva, that had to come true. In the sense, he always kept his promise. Kamsa knew that, and therefore became pacified. And he allowed Devaki to go that day. Parjanya Maharaj, the father of Nanda, they were 5 brothers. Parjanya Maharaj had 5 sons: Nanda, Upananda, Sunanda, Abhinanda, and Nandana. And Nanda was the middle one. But he was so exemplary in his qualities that all of them unanimously accepted him as the king when Parjanya Maharaj decided to take retirement. Upananda, the eldest, said that Nanda is the most qualified amongst us. Therefore, he should be king. And let my name become true by appointing Nanda as the king. My name is Upananda, so I am Nanda's follower. Such kind of love existed between the brothers. Shri Radha Madhava Bhagwan ki, Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maya ki. So Nanda was appointed the king. Nanda was married to Yashoda. Now this is the pastime we are mentioning in Gokul. While in Mathura, there is Devaki and Vasudeva's pastime going on. In Gokul, this pastime. Now it had become many years and Nanda and Yashoda did not have any child. Many years had passed. And seeing their own king and queen not having any child was disturbing to the Brajvasis. So they performed yagyas so that Nanda and Yashoda could have a child. Seeing this, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda were having a conversation. And Nanda Maharaj is saying that the child that I want, he should be the controller of destiny. How can an activity like yajna produce a child the way we want? How can someone who is going to control destiny be produced by an activity which is controlled by destiny? So in this way, Nanda Maharaj was thinking that there is no point of them performing these yajnas. And one day he had a discussion with Ma Yashoda that I want to tell you of a dream that I had. It has been my intense desire and to have a child like this, who appeared in my dream, who is like a blue lotus flower. Who has lotus petal eyes. And I see that child often. Yashoda says, I haven't mentioned this to you out of shyness, but I also have had the same dream and same desire. Let us perform the Dwadasi vow and please Lord Narayan so that we can receive this kind of a benediction that such a child can come to us. And thus Nanda and Yashoda performed austerity for a year, and Lord Narayan himself comes in their dream and tells them that kalpa after kalpa, such a child is born to you. That child is none other than myself. And in previous life also, you were Drona and Dhara. And I appeared as your child. And this time also, I will be doing so, as I am pleased with your austerity. And then the Lord disappears. Nanda and Yashoda become extremely jubilant and extremely pleased, now anticipating the Lord's arrival. Meanwhile, Purnamasi, who is the representation of Yogamaya, Purnamasi, she arrives in Gokul, along with another lame small boy. So the Brajvasis, looking at this effulgent ascetic lady, they become very surprised and they say, why, oh lady, have you come here? She says that some very extraordinary events are going to happen in Braj. King Nanda is going to have a son who is going to delight not only the Brajvasis but the entire universe. So when she glorified Nanda's son, the Brajvasis became so jubilant because she was glorifying their king, and all of their desire coming true, which was that King Nanda should have a son. They said, Purnamasi Devi, you live here. She said, yes, this is my son, this is my grandson, Madhu Mangal. He is equal to Narad in qualities. And both of us have some special powers and secrets. We know some secrets that are going to happen in Braj. So they tell us, we will build a cottage for you. Brajvasis tell Purnamasi Devi, we will build a cottage for you, you live here only. And she agrees to this. Meanwhile, in Braj, Rohini arrives. When Vasudeva and Devaki were imprisoned, Vasudeva had 18 wives. And Rohini was another one of them. So Rohini was very disturbed by King Kamsa's atrocities on Vasudeva and Devaki. And Vasudeva thus decided to dispatch Rohini to his close friend Nanda's palace, Nanda's house, so that she could be protected. So when Rohini arrives, it is very auspicious. She arrived in the night, and all the Brajvasis, they took it as a sign of auspiciousness. She is already pregnant. So as we know, when Vasudeva delivered the first child, Kirtiman, to King Kamsa, King Kamsa said, "Oh Vasudeva, I am so pleased to see you have come. But I have no fear from this child. So you may take him back home." Vasudeva was very relieved. However, he knew very well that a demon like Kamsa cannot be trusted. And so when he goes back, then Narad Muni comes and tells Kamsa. Because Narad Muni, like the other devotees, like the other demigods, they want the Lord's arrival to come soon. When Krishna comes, then automatically the entire environment becomes auspicious. It is a solution to all problems eternally. So always the devotees want the Lord's advent and the arrival. So Narad Muni, he tells Kamsa that, "Kamsa, we heard that the 8th child of Devaki is going to be the cause of your death. Why did you let this child go?" So Kamsa says, "The 8th child, this is the first one." Narad Muni says, "If I count from backwards, then the first becomes the 8th. How do you know which one is the 8th one? And so any child could be the 8th. Do not take this risk." And thus Kamsa becomes very petrified, extremely fearful, puts Vasudeva and Devaki back in the prison, and he murders the first child and the next 5 children. 6 dead sons of Devaki were actually the sons of Marichi. The demigods performed that Akashvani on the day of marriage of Devaki and Vasudeva because they wanted also the Lord to advent sooner. They also knew that Marichi's 6 sons have been cursed to take birth from Devaki's womb. They did not want Kamsa to become positive, to remain positive towards Devaki. They wanted Kamsa becomes offensive towards Devaki. That will accelerate his sins overflowing and the Lord's advent. So that is why that announcement happened. And then Kamsa, thus creating offenses after the other, 6 children of Devaki he kills. Devatas were happy because they got back the sons of Marichi back. So, but Devaki lost 6 children. And the 7th pregnancy was basically when the Lord instructed Yogamaya Devi that my plenary portion, Ananta, is in Devaki's womb. You transfer him to Rohini's womb. And you also appear to Nanda and Yashoda. Now here the Lord says, you will be known as my younger sister. How is Yogamaya the younger sister of Krishna when Krishna has appeared from Devaki and Vasudeva and she has appeared from Nanda and Yashoda? This is one hint. So Krishna, he tells that you will not have, he tells to Yogamaya, you will not have the benediction of being raised by Yashoda. However, I bless you that anyone who asks for blessings from you, their desires will be fulfilled. And you will be worshipped by different names like Bhadrakali, Vaishnavi, and Chandi. In so many different ways you will be worshipped. So, what happens now is Yogamaya, she goes to Yashoda, she goes to Devaki, transfers Sankarshana from Devaki's womb. She is already 7 months pregnant with Sankarshana, and transfers to Rohini. Rohini is also pregnant with another embryo. Rohini is also pregnant. When Yogamaya Devi brings Sankarshana, she sees that already there is another embryo there. Another fetus is lying. She removes that and she puts in Sankarshana. Rohini Devi feels that she has a miscarriage. But Yogamaya pacifies her, saying that the plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Ananta has appeared in your womb. And because he gets attracted by your womb, he will be known as Sankarshana. So Rohini Devi thus becomes pacified. Now this is already 7 months she was pregnant. So this is already, this is a 7th month pregnancy is going on. So nobody knew that Rohini had a miscarriage. Everybody felt the Brajvasis were talking amongst themselves, Devaki had a miscarriage. Maybe Kamsa must have done something to abort the baby. This is what the other Brajvasis were discussing amongst themselves. That in Mathura jail, Devaki had a miscarriage. And the reason must be Kamsa. They were thinking and concluding like this. Meanwhile, Yogamaya Devi also, she enters into Yashoda's womb. How? Nanda and Yashoda, this is in the month of Magh. Yashoda sees a dream wherein she sees a young boy hiding behind a young girl. She sees that the young boy enters into Nand Baba's heart. And Nand Baba has that vision and experience of the Supreme Personality of Godhead entering into his heart. From Nand Baba's heart, this boy enters into Ma Yashoda's heart. And from Ma Yashoda's heart, he enters into Ma Yashoda's womb. And the young girl, she enters into Ma Yashoda's womb also. So Ma Yashoda was pregnant with twins. Now the ladies in Braj were thinking and were discussing amongst themselves. Look at Yashoda. Her face is golden and she is shining. What do you think? It's a boy or girl? So some were saying that if her face is pale, it is a boy. But because she is pink, it's a girl. They were discussing like this. Whether Yashoda, there is going to be a boy who will take birth or a girl. A discussion. You know, this is a very favorite pastime amongst all ladies. They discuss, whenever there is a pregnancy, they discuss whether it will be girl or boy. So we see the culture starts from Braj. So in the Shravan Mas, in Shravan Nakshatra at Abhijit Murat, Rohini gives birth to a beautiful white colored boy. Curly black hair, flash-like eyes, who is extremely strong. The astrologers say that in the previous life, he enjoyed pastimes with Lord Ram. This life, he is going to be the killer of Pralambasur, Dvivida, Dhenukasur. And because he will give enjoyment to everyone, including the Brajvasis, he will be known as Ram. He will assist the son of Yashoda in his pastimes. But this boy, when he appeared, he had no response. He was not laughing, he was not smiling. When a child is born, you always find that everybody becomes very fascinated at looking at the minute, detailed expressions of the child. And everybody relishes because it is so sweet. However, this boy showed no signs of any kind of life. He was not laughing, he was not smiling, he was not crying, very dull. And everyone thought that, what is wrong with him? Those who were able to see the future knew that it was Yashoda's child, unborn child, is going to make him normal. And thus, in the month of Bhadra, when Rohini was ascending in Taurus, so the Lagna for Krishna is Venus. So that time, it is amazing that how it works with respect to astrology when the Lord comes. Anybody who studies Jyotish Shastra knows that it is not possible to have 5 exalted planets at the same time. But this happens when Krishna comes. All the planets are in exaltation. Moon is full moon. It's Ashtami, but moon is in full moon. How? Why? Because Chandra thought, in my Vamsha Krishna is appearing, so I should also come fully. So here it is full moon day, full moon night. So in such auspicious circumstances, Krishna appears at midnight on the Ashtami Tithi. The Acharyas mentioned that Krishna, so this is Krishna's appearing Again, this happens at two places. It is happening in Mathura jail, where Devaki and Vasudeva, they are elated by the Lord's appearance. And he also appears at Gokul. After Krishna appears in Gokul, then Yogamaya Devi also appears there. That is how Krishna and Yogamaya are brother and sister. The Acharyas mentioned that when Krishna appears, his face, there are 7 treasures that are defeated. Krishna's lotus face, it defeats Mahapadma. His eyes defeat the lotus. His nose defeats the shark. His smile defeats the jasmine. His neck defeats the conch shell. The sole of his feet defeats the turtle. And his complexion defeats the sapphire, blue sapphire. So these 7 auspicious treasures are defeated when it comes to beauty. Sometimes people say Krishna is known as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. Why? He was the son of Nanda and Yashoda. He was born to Nanda and Yashoda. Not that they were only his foster father and mother. So why is it that this pastime is hidden? Because we know that Krishna only appears to his devotees. Just like a father of many sons discloses his own secrets of his position to the pet son. In the same way, the Lord reveals himself only to the pure devotees. And therefore, the Acharyas, they say that this pastime is hidden from everyone except the Brajvasis, who wanted to relish the relationship with Krishna in that particular rasa, in that having that particular humor of relationship. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, so many different rasas are mentioned. And we know one of the primary 5 rasas is Vatsalya Bhav. The Vatsalya Bhav that Devaki and Vasudeva have, there is some Aishwarya tinged with it. Whereas Nanda and Yashoda, their Vatsalya, the love that they have is so pure, there is no tinge of any kind of Aishwarya. How do we understand? That when Krishna appears to Devaki and Vasudeva in the prison house, that time they offer some wonderful prayers. Of course, prayers that are offered to Krishna are compared to, just like a father becomes very happy when the child speaks broken language. So how is it possible actually to glorify the Supreme Personality? It is not possible. However, the father becomes very pleased. In the same way, Krishna becomes very happy by the prayers that are offered to him by his pure devotees. That is why one of the components of darshan, when we take darshan, are we offer prayers. So Srila Prabhupada, he instituted the Govindam prayers. So every day we have darshan arti. In all ISKCON temples around the world, we have darshan arti program every day. So why is it held? It's so that we can offer these prayers, we can chant heartfully to the Lord to glorify Him. This is one thing we learn, that when we offer prayers to the Lord, generally the mundane person who comes as a pilgrim to the temple, his idea is that God is an order carrier. Actually, he is right. God is an order carrier. He is an order carrier of his pure devotees only. So the entire process of Krishna consciousness is actually to make us from mundane to pure. So a person who comes, then you will find that when they visit any temple, they come in front of the deity and then they close their eyes because they are trying to recollect the list. So they are very focused so that nothing should be forgotten. Rather than actually marvel at the beauty of the Lord and then offer prayers to Him. Just in the Bhagavatam, every limb of the Lord is offered prayers by the devotees. For every limb, even the toenails of the Lord, there are beautiful prayers that are offered by the devotees. And that is what as devotees we relish. Vandanam, prayers, is one of the 9 limbs of Bhakti Yoga. So we offer prayers in this way. Whereas the mundane person, when he comes, his offering of prayers is more of demanding. Give me this. Or the performance of austerity is for some ulterior purpose, which is to serve him, himself. The difference between pure devotional service and mixed devotional service, or even something which is purely karmic, that means that a person who's not performing karma mishra bhakti, but is performing bhakti mishra karma, is that they perform some activity so that they can gain something. So you may find that a lot of people, they may resort to astrology, or they may want some remedies for the difficulties they face in life. And for that, what do? They go to some temples that they are prescribed, and then they perform certain pujas and certain vratas so that they can get the object of their desire. And this is thus called Bhakti Mishra Karma. There is devotion. Without devotion, it is not possible to achieve. It is not only by one's endeavor that one achieves anything in this world. So then they end up performing this. Those who are practicing devotees, we find that there it becomes crucial to identify what is Karma Mishra Bhakti. That means that when bhakti there is a mixture of karma, that means that some enjoyment is wanted for one's self-purpose. What differentiates pure devotional service from mixed is that everything is for satisfaction of Krishna. That is what is pure devotional service. That is the aim of human life. Once I had asked our Guru Maharaj what we should pray for. And he said we should pray for pure devotional service. It took many years to find out what is the meaning of pure devotional service. If you go through the Bhagavatam and study the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, we understand that actually every page of this talks about pure devotional service. It is meant to encourage us to live a life wherein we live for Krishna's pleasure and not for ours. But we are so strongly conditioned in material existence that we feel that the only reality is our own pleasure and our own satisfaction. But the whole thing is a change of perspective, wherein we start thinking that what is going to make Krishna happy and what is going to make Vaishnavas happy. This is, in essence, Krishna consciousness, being conscious of what Krishna would want in every situation. Like, we celebrated Gita Jayanti last week, and this month is Bhagavad Gita Marathon. Bhagavad Gita is about Arjuna giving up his own desire and surrendering to what Krishna would want him to do. It actually seems very simple, but it is very difficult to practice sometimes. Why? Because of our own conditioned mind. It is very easy for the conditioned soul to just be on default setting, which is to do whatever his mind pleases. But this entire process of purification, which begins with chanting of the holy names, 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, following the 4 regulative principles, and performing devotional service under the authority and guidance of a senior personality, that is the Shri Guru manifestation in our lives, is actually what is the molding of the conditioned person or the conditioned soul into someone who can become an instrument to fulfill Krishna's desire. Arjuna was not in a mood to fight. He did not want to fulfill Krishna's desire. And the essence of Bhagavad Gita is all about inspiring Arjuna in different ways to come to the point of surrendering to Krishna, wherein he accepts the statement made by Krishna, Nimitta Matrena Bhavasavya Sachin. Become an instrument, O Arjuna. So that is the topmost activity. Becoming an instrument in the hands of Krishna. That is the perfection of individual soul's existence, whether we are becoming an instrument or not. And you can see how Krishna protects. That pastime is there in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Mahabharata, that when the Mahabharata war ended, so Arjuna got out from they were supposed to get down from the chariot, and Krishna asked Arjuna to get down from the chariot first. And as soon as Krishna steps out of the chariot becomes ashes, which basically indicated that Arjuna was protected by Krishna always, directly, indirectly, although he was not always conscious. He was protected by different kinds of attacks and missiles that were coming from all directions. So Krishna protects one who is engaged in his service as an instrument. And this month of marathon is actually meant to make us conscious of that and give everyone an opportunity to go out and become an instrument in the hands of the Lord to give Krishna to others. Devaki and Vasudeva are expecting Krishna's arrival. The demigods, they are praying to Ma Yashoda in the womb. And then when this particular Tithi arrives, when Krishna appears, he comes in his original form. And then he takes the form of he takes the four-handed form with Shankh, Chakra, Gada and Padma. And he doesn't come, a normal child you will see, he comes to this world, he's always crying. If he doesn't cry, the doctor hits him so that he cries. Imagine our advent in this world begins by crying. It's not something very glorious, is it? Still people distribute sweets. So when Krishna comes, he arrives in his original form. And then Devaki and Vasudeva is offering prayers. He's saying, Krishna, you are beyond the three modes of material nature. You are the source of your expansions, Brahma, Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, who create, maintain and annihilate this universe. And everything goes on in this world by the combination of the modes of nature, of which you are the master. In this way, Vasudeva is praying. And then Devaki, she offers her prayers. And when Devaki offers her prayers, at the end she says that, my dear Lord, please take the form of a normal child. Because we are afraid that your coming in this form will instigate Kamsa, who is just awaiting news of your arrival. And then he will come and kill you. Then the Lord speaks, and the Lord says that actually in previous lives, you were Sutapa and Shrini, and I came as your son Shrini Garbha. Because you performed so much of tapasya to have, and then when I came in front of you, you asked that, what would you like? What is your desire? You said that we would want a child who is as good as you. Not finding anyone as good as me other than myself, I myself came. I came in previously I came as your son Vamana, and you were Aditi and Kashyap. And now you are Devaki and Vasudeva, and I have come as your child, Krishna, Vasudeva Krishna. And then he says, be rest assured, Kamsa will do no harm. And then he instructs that Vasudeva should go on the other side and then transfer, exchange him for a young girl which was born to Yashoda. So then we know the pastime. Then the Lord disappears. Then all the shackles which are there in the prison house, they suddenly open. The guards fall asleep. And from Mathura prison, Vasudeva, he takes baby Krishna and he crosses over the Yamuna, miraculously, which parts its ways to go on the other side at Gokul. And at Gokul, it is night time, everybody is asleep. And my Yashoda had given birth, but in the labor pain, she fell asleep, not being conscious of whether she had given birth to a girl or boy. She did not know. Vasudeva was only able to see a girl there. He puts Krishna on the side of my Yashoda and takes this baby girl and goes back to Mathura prison. What he did not see is when he placed this child on next to my Yashoda, when he placed baby Krishna, he was placing Vasudeva Krishna, who merges with Brajendra Nandan Shyam Sundar already present there. As we discussed earlier, that Ma Yashoda gave birth to twins. So Brajendra Nandan Shyam Sundar was already there. And when Vasudeva arrives there, he was not able to see, because Vasudeva's position is not in Vrindavan. His position is in Mathura. It's more official. There is some Aishwarya there also, where Krishna serves eternally in the spiritual world as Mathuresh in the spiritual Mathura. In Dwarka also Vasudeva is present. So that love is tinged with some Aishwarya Vasudeva was not able to see, but only Nanda and Yashoda. So Vasudeva, when he carries Krishna, they merge, and then this Brajendra Nandan Shyam Sundar merges with Vasudeva Krishna, who kills all the demons. In Vasudeva Krishna also is present Lord Shiva. He drinks the poison from Putana's breast. Because that's what Lord Shiva does. Because all incarnations come when Krishna comes. In this way, Vasudeva takes Yogamaya back to the prison. When Kamsa comes to know, he becomes enraged and he reaches there, wanting to fling this baby also to kill. Devaki pleads with him that this is a girl, what harm can she do to you? But Kamsa was not one who could hear good advice, and he flings this child, who slips out of his hand and takes the form of Durga Devi, who announces that the one who is destined to kill you has already taken birth elsewhere. Do not inflict more atrocities on Devaki and Vasudeva. You have done enough, Kamsa. Saying so, she disappears. Kamsa thus comes to his senses, and then he regrets his actions. In this way, we find that this is Krishna's Janma Leela. And in this way, we find that how Krishna appears solely for the pleasure of his devotees. It is interesting that how Devaki and Vasudeva, when they are feeling afraid that Kamsa will come and kill you, and they express that to Krishna, that don't take this four-handed form, take the two-handed form of a normal child. And they are afraid that Kamsa will come. Srila Prabhupada explains that what is actually Krishna's position, that just like a child who plays with toy lions, toy horses, and in the play sometimes they break. The child breaks. In the same way, that is Krishna's relationship and position with respect to the demons. He can immediately finish them off. So there is no reason to fear. So then why does he enact all these pastimes? Why did he have to go? Why did he appear in Mathura jail? He appeared because that was to fulfill the desire of Devaki and Vasudeva. Why did he appear in Gokul? To fulfill the desire of Nanda and Yashoda. Then why did he shift from Mathura to Gokul? To fulfill the desire of Vasudeva and Devaki, who asked that Krishna should be put in they are praying to the Lord, that Kamsa will come and kill you, please do something. So to mitigate their fear, in this way we find that Krishna is so conscious of his devotees' desires that everything that he does is always done with this in mind. And therefore he is Bhakta Vatsal, the one who fulfills the desires of his devotees. So on this auspicious occasion of Gita Jayanti, let us try to reach out to as many people as possible, giving them Krishna. Giving them Bhagavad Gita means giving them Krishna. Krishna's words in Bhagavad Gita are non-different from him. When they will read 4th chapter, they will come across Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti swarjuna. When they come across this verse, they will read, they will understand that Krishna's appearance and activities are transcendental. That will force them to inquire that who is Krishna then? Who is this personality? And so many of their questions, for the sincere seekers who come in the category of jigyasus, so many of their questions get answered. And when they will come to the temple being convinced, we do not know. There have been so many devotees who have become devotees because they read Srila Prabhupada's books. Or the first contact they had was with some devotees who were distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. Many of them gave up meat eating. Many people, they began their spiritual journey because they come in touch with Srila Prabhupada's books. Srila Prabhupada says anybody who touches these books also gets benefited. What to speak somebody who reads them. So if we make people touch these books also, they get so much sukruti. If we make people see the images, they get sakshat darshan of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada says that these images are windows to the spiritual world, he says. So if somebody sees, he takes the darshan of the Lord, he takes darshan. You show them the book and you make them take darshan like this. And what is changing in their lives, they don't know, we don't know. But it is certainly changing. So always being cognizant and conscious of this fact, let us try our best to push on this Sankirtan movement. Because Krishna appears, Kali Kale Naam Rup Krishna Avatar, Naam Hoite Hoy Sarva Jagat Nishtar. If one goes through Bhagavad Gita, if somebody reads Bhagavad Gita, you will find every chapter, Srila Prabhupada, every page is mentioning, perform bhakti and chant Hare Krishna. You will find every page. Many scholars of the Gita, they may argue that in the first few chapters there is Karma Yoga that is mentioned. In the last 6, Jnana is mentioned. But where is chanting Hare Krishna? But this is the beauty of Bhaktivedanta purport. Srila Prabhupada dives to the essence directly. As a young boy, when I read Bhagavad Gita, so many of my questions got answered. That who is God? And what is to be done? And just by that inspiration, not meeting devotees before that, just by reading of the Bhagavad Gita, I started also chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then, because of that, after a while, auspiciousness came in my life also and devotees came. I was introduced to devotees like that. The first contact was Bhagavad Gita. And through Gita, I understood three things. Krishna is God, others are demigods, and I have to chant Hare Krishna. Bas. But that is enough. Enough to start the process of devotional life, which all of us have given a nice opportunity by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and his followers. So let us take this opportunity and distribute Srila Prabhupada's books in this month of December. You know, we are very comfortable in the Western countries. Now you go in Russia, you go in other countries where there are devotees who are preaching. It's extremely cold. You know, we had a few days ago, His Grace Naveen and Nirad Prabhu, he had come here to Attapur also, he was on his tour. So at one point he was mentioning that their devotees in Russia, devotees in Europe, in winter time, it is snow, there is snow everywhere. It's so cold. It is snowing. The temperatures go -30, -50 in some places. And devotees are standing in 5 feet, in 2 feet, 3 feet of snow. And they're standing on, walkways. They're standing on, just like we have chorahas. They stand like that in the middle of the road and they distribute books. So that kind of austerity devotees perform in this time of marathon. And imagine the austerity we have to perform. Nothing. You have to just go and tell people that our Prime Minister also gifted the Russian, in charge also, President, right? President Putin. He gifted him also Russian Bhagavad Gita. This copy he has given. Abhi wo bhi pad raha hai, tum to padho. No. Simple. This is all we have to do. There is so much of wave of Sanatana Dharma going on in the country. It's a piece of cake to preach right now. And therefore, you get so much sukruti also. So we should go all out and unapologetically. You know what is the meaning of unapologetically? There's no shame. Without any shame, just reach out to people and instruct them and request them. Srila Prabhupada says, my dear sir, you are so intelligent. Please take this book and give me your wallet. Prabhupada says this is how we distribute books. Not to irritate the public, but do it in such a way that people feel inspired to give. So let us take this opportunity on this auspicious occasion of the Gita Marathon to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books and thus make our life successful. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Any questions or comments? Okay, so we'll end here. Granth-Raj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution Marathon ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.